Hello YouTube, Retro Nostalgia Fan here, and I'm back again with another Thomas Winroa yearbook. This is the 2002 yearbook. Now before I get into the review, I just want to say that this is one of the first yearbooks I've ever seen in my life. Before the early pre-2001 clickety-clack era, this was the first yearbook that I saw in person but never owned. I saw one of my cousin's copy of this yearbook standing on top of his shelf like that. And quite frankly, it's something very sentimental. This is one of my favorite yearbook covers too. It looks like a really good yearbook. When you see this for a cover, you know it's going to be good. This is also the year when Clickety Clack was switched to traction rail. The logo got rid of the term featuring Clickety Clack. It just says Wooden Railway now. And Thomas and his main friends on Island of Sodor got a redesign, as well as Birdie the Bus. But some characters still have the old style design. The only difference, they got rid of their little widow's peak on the back, if you know what I mean. But yeah, otherwise, if we look at the front, it's a really nice cover. Learning Curve is still at its glory days right now at this point still, in 2002. And this is probably the largest yearbook that Learning Curve made, even more bigger than the ones after. But when Mattel owned the rights, the 2016 or 2013 yearbook probably was the biggest yearbook ever made. But let's dive in. Ah yes, the Thomas Promise. And as you can see, we got the new style traction rail track. There's Thomas. Eventually he gets stripes on top of him, but that will happen around 2004 or 2005. Anyway, look at this. We got the Thomas Promise, and I'll read this. The Thomas Wind Railway brings the beloved stories of Thomas the Tank Engine magically to life and will provide your little engineers with a little rich world to discover and explore. But there's hard work at play, too, on the island of Sodor. Through the adventures of Thomas and his friends, your child will learn important lessons about the value of friendship, fair play, and teamwork. Building with the Thomas Wind Railway will also help your child to develop physical, social, and cognitive skills, as well as a sense of pride and accomplishment. Thomas and Friends will inspire your child to believe in that little people, like little engines, can do big things. And best of all, the Thomas Wind Railway carries an unconditional lifetime warranty. Thomas and Friends promises to be your child's friends for life, guaranteed. I love that. Learning Curve was, like I said before, Learning Curve was not scared of admitting that they had quality toys, and they really did. Rarely would people have complaints about their toys being broken. It was just more of a factory error if that was the scenario. But it's still good quality toys. Come along, it says on the top. And here's the list of things that you're going to see in the catalog. And there's a little 3D figure of Sir Topham Hatt, the Fat Controller. And new friends. We start off with the first section with new characters, and believe it or not, I actually had Ivo Hugh in the Zoo Cars. I had the original 2002 3-pack, believe it or not, as a kid. And I got it in 2006 for Christmas. I remember it. I think my Aunt Patty or my mom got this for me for Christmas. I remember. It was a great Christmas gift. I have Ivo Hugh, but I lost the Zoo Car and the box car. My childhood one was lost, but a friend of mine actually sent me one in the mail, which was really nice. So I just have Ivo Hugh, but I want to get the Zoo Car and the box car so I can recreate my childhood again. Also, ones I always wanted as a kid but never got until way later was the Big City Engine. This guy, I always got this guy confused with the Flying Scotsman, because there was times where, because their face expressions looked very similar to me as a kid. But now I see a lot more differences. But the Big City Engine was one I always wanted as a kid. Never got until I was 16, 17 years old. Actually, I was 17, I believe, when I got it. 17 or 16. And I'm happy to have this character in my collection. I also want to get Caroline. I have her Ertl model, but I want to get her Wooden Railway model. I think it's a really good model. Another one I always wanted too was the recycling cars. It's basically a Happy Scruffy, repainted, redesigned. And this was an original character that Learning Curve made to teach kids about recycling, which is really good. It's good, you know, to teach kids good actions and good environment, health, and stuff like that. This is one I still want to get is recycling cars. He's easy to get, fortunately. Also want to get Thumper. Always wanted Thumper as a kid. I thought he was an interesting character in Season 5 in Rusty and the Boulder. We got George. I never cared for George, but I would like to get his wooden model. I want to get his Ertl model as well. Sorry about that. What's also weird is they say coming soon we're gonna get Harvey and then Salty, which Salty, he's too long. Eventually he became a 3-wheel engine, which makes sense considering Salty only had 6 wheels. When I said 3 wheels, I meant 3 on each side, making it a total of 6. Here he has 8, and they have bogies. That's not right for Salty, but 2003 we're going to see his correct design. But this was a prototype. But yeah. And here's a little picture of Thomas James by a new 1999 and onwards water tank. Here's the other characters. As you can tell now, look at them. They all got redesigns. And quite frankly, I prefer the old style designs for all of these characters, but Toby is the only exception where I actually think his new design is an improvement. Gordon's face wasn't the best. Henry's tender was an improvement. I'll admit Henry's was really good of a redesign. Percy was okay, it wasn't too bad. James was not too bad. Edward's design, I had these redesigns as a kid. These were the ones I grew up with, by the way. And I had a couple old style models, but never got most of them. I only had literally 3 of them as a kid. But after that, I really stopped collecting Wooden Railway until I realized I still liked Thomas the Tank Engine in a way, so I didn't give up enjoying my childhood now as a young adult. But yeah, this is sentimental to me, just seeing now these once new designs, now considered old. It's crazy. Because these were the designs I grew up with. Even though I was born in 2002, so that would make sense. So, and that was a transitional year for how models were made and how they were designed. However, 2002 and 2003, some of the models on the yearbook, though, still show the old style models with the Widow's Peak. Like we got old style Diesel, Bill and Ben, the old style log car, which never changed after 1995. We got Duke, the cargo car. Donald Douglas they still have their old style designs with the Widow's Peak. Same with Scarloey and Oliver, and even Duck, Daisy. All of these are old style designs from pre-2002, except for the main engine, the first 7 engines. However, when you did buy these old style designs in 2002 and 2003, some of them would still have the Widow's Peak, because that was actually the last year. By the way, 2002 was the last year where the Widow's Peak mechanism for like building the models was the last year to build these toys with that mechanism, except for some of the rolling stock and some of the long diesels like Daisy and Boko. They were produced differently, but they kept their production the same in like when making the model together. Whereas like characters like Thomas, Oliver, like the steam engines would actually have different progress of building them, and they get rid of the Widow's Peak 2002 was the year when they got rid of the ledges or Widow's Peak sticking out of some of the engines, but here you can see some of them. There's pictures of them when they still had the Widow's Peak. As you can see, the little ledge sticking outwards in the back behind of the engine. Same with Duke. Yeah, these were old style models. But it's cool how 2002 is a transitional year for that. But some of them, like Andy and Clarabelle State, kept the same till 2004, maybe even later. Some of them were just discontinued solar and could put money to redesign the rolling stock or engine, depending on the character or the model. But yeah, something worth pointing out right there. This is going to be a little long yearbook. And we get some more engines here. On the top, we see Peter Sam pulling the Sodor Fuel and Tar wagon, and Scarloy pulling the breakdown train. Even though those were different gauges of rolling stock. We get the 3-packs. We still get the awesome Flying Scotsman. And the Sodor Railway Repair, which is awesome. And Rusty with Construction Cars, which, as I mentioned, I actually had this. I had this exact 2002 version as a kid, just like Ivo Hugh. I also had a 2004 Circus Train. I always wanted the Sodor gift pack set as a kid. This is something I always wanted as a kid, but never got. And this is the last year where we get the Tom's 5-pack car, the 5-car pack or the 5-truck pack. And the thing is that Thomas here is his 2002 design. The thing about this 5-pack is this is the last time you're ever going to see this gray-faced troublesome truck. Because after 2002, this 5-pack was permanently discontinued, and the gray-faced troublesome truck was never around ever since this 5-pack, which is sad but true. This is also the last year with the Sodor Railway Repair, which is also sad. Flying Scotsman stays around till 2003, I found out, which is extremely rare. Now we get to the sets. Here are the introduction sets, or introductory sets. I had this one, but it was the stop and go station instead of this conductor's figure 8 set. I might have had this one as a kid, but I know for a fact that I did not have this destination, but I probably did have an arch stone bridge at one point. The circle set I actually had as a kid. I always wanted the circus set because it had a little playboard with it, and Duncan was inside, but I had Duncan as a kid, despite losing it eventually. And here's a picture of the roundhouse, which is what we're going to see soon. We get the barrel loader set, which is, this is the last year. It was made until it was discontinued in 2003, sadly. The Day at the Work set was still going. Now it has a redesigned traction rail track. Caldy and Scruffy still have their old style design. And then the set I, in fact, had as a kid was the 2002 Down by the Dock set. This is the new set, and I actually had this set as a kid. I kept my Cranky growing up, Cranky the Crane, and sadly, in the Sodor Bay Bridge, but sadly, I lost those. My mom threw them away eventually when I was at that awkward phase when I was wondering if I was too mature to old to like Thomas or not. You know, that was something that I was dealing with, and when we were going to move out of a town in Wisconsin, not where I live now, a different town, but we were gonna move and we were living with one of my mom's friends for a little bit, and then soon we went back to Solon, which is where I grew up in high school and middle school, even a little bit of elementary. And then after that, my mom just decided to throw the stuff that was some of my toys that were stored at her friend's house was thrown away behind my back, and that was a bummer. So it's kind of sad I don't have any original pieces from this anymore. But I could save some pieces and recreate it one day. Bringing back my childhood. And then we get the deluxe sets. This is an awesome one, because we see the Mountain Tunnel set, which is awesome. the lift and load set, which is I bet a lot of you, including myself, always wanted this set. This is the set I always wanted, was the 2002 redesigned roundhouse set. I prefer the 1997 to 2001 design, but looking back though, this was a design this is the one I grew up with the most and always wanting, because I like the characters that came with it. I had most of the characters except for Duke. Duke was the only one I didn't have, but I didn't have all the track and elevation pieces, or even the roundhouse and turntable, which was my main reasoning why I wanted this. This was a set and I also wanted it for its Thomas storage box. Like, that's pretty damn cool. And then we get the bridge and tunnel set, which is very rare, and this was actually the last year this was made until this was discontinued a year later in 2003. Same with the mountain tunnel set, but these two sets still live on. Yeah, this set is sentimental to me looking at it, because this was the set I've always seen and the main version of the roundhouse, and then it wasn't until I was about in 4th grade when I learned there was a different design, old style roundhouse set from 1997 to 2001. This came with the same storage bin of Thomas, but had a different layout. But yeah, this one is really cool. And we get a little picture of Thomas underneath the drawbridge, one of my favorite destinations growing up, which I have. Here is some bridges. And I was going to say this bridge, right, the Sling Bridge was something I never cared for. It looks, I think it has a good purpose, but it's not as good as the drawbridge. It's not as simplistic. It's just kind of over the top, I feel. It has the same mechanism as the lifting bridge, just more force into it. And we get some destinations. The circus destination, the musical carousel, actually is a really cool destination. And then we get the Honey Depot, which it's not bad. Not a bad one. And we get some more destinations, including Cranky. And then right here is something really cool. Is a little fake certificate that's a thick piece of paper. And right here it says, I hereby declare that, you put your name, and then it says, is a fine and very useful engineer who has my permission to direct any engine on the island of Sodor. Sir Topham had. That's really kind of cute. Makes a kid feel like they're an engineer. I like that. And here's more of the pages. And we get some little flavor, like accessories to make the sets look more flavorable, to give a little flavor to the sets. What's weird is this Tom's carrying bag actually has the 1997 design carrying bag, which is really cool. We get the new traction rail track. New Thomas track. The new Thomas track offers the same great train play as you know and love, along with new features that makes it even better, more realistic and more durable. More traction. They call it the traction rails. Boost battery powered engines performances. So yeah, traction rail is a real hit or miss for some. For me, I like clickety-clack, but I also grew up with traction rail, so I do like traction rail track too, because thing is, the grooves on the clickety-clack track, where the engine's magnet would always, when you put it on an accelerated piece of clickety-clack ascending track, the magnet gets stuck onto a groove that's blocking the engine from going up, and that's annoying about clickety-clack. That's the only con I have with it. But other than that, though, this traction rail design got rid of that design, but it actually looks really cool. And I like both types of tracks. They're better than Breel tracks. Breel tracks look boring. But here is more accessories. If you want to pause the video. Get some more. Then right here, we get a little bit of expansion packs. Now they got different expansion packs and not the same ones from the 2001 yearbook. These are completely new expansion packs for like some introduction sets. A little ranking too of how each expansion pack was or would be more challenging for the child to learn and understand. And then here's known as a builder's guide. Here's the road vehicles, which was something new in 2002. Was learning curve was focusing on the roadway vehicles and the new track for roadway adventures, which is cool. And as you can see, Terrence still has his old style design, and Trevor, well, he's never changed. He's been the same since 2000, which is crazy. We get some road destinations for the road vehicles. The fire station was the first ever. Then the Sodor Airfield, and even I guess Sodor Dairy Farm now all of a sudden is considered that. Originally, that was part for the engine. That was an engine's destination, but for some reason they put it in road vehicles. I don't know why. But yeah, and then the rescue hospital. That's a really good destination. I think that's a really good one. Then we get some roadway sets. This was one I also wanted as a kid but never got. Was the Let's Have the Race set. This was one I really wanted because of the windmill and the old style Thomas that was shown in the yearbooks and pamphlets. Because as you can see, that's a 1999 Thomas and Annie Clarabelle, but that's a 2002 Birdie. A little fun fact. And we get the Sodor Airfield set, which is still the same as the 2001 version. Then we get the battery-powered engines, which now have a redesign. Well, there's a new one, which is Lady. These redesigns, you can't go backwards with them, sadly, unfortunately. So that's a con with them. But they have better designs, at least. Though why does James have gray wheels? I don't know. But we get some sets here. We get the twist and turn battery-powered set. We also get the battery-powered figure 8, and overthrough battery-powered set. Then we get some accessories for play table and playboard. This table I always wanted as a kid, but never got. This is the old style 2002 play table. I'm sorry, 1992 play table, but it got a redesign in 1995 or 1996. Then we get some new playboards for tables. We also get two new cloth play mats. At this point, the older play mats from the 2001 yearbooks or earlier in the 90s are now discontinued at this point, which is sad, but it is what it is. And then we get some Thomas accessories. Thomas storage bench was something I wanted as a kid. Get some little accessories and stuff. And then we get a new version of the Builder's Guide. This has 7 layouts instead of 6, unlike the previous yearbooks. We get some new layouts, which is nice. Some of them are still rip-offs of others, but otherwise not too big of a deal. Get around the dairy farm, across the countryside, which is actually just the 1994 layout, just with a little new additions to it. Expand the conductor's figure 8 set and the barrel loader set. And crossing the rails of Sodor. And there's books you can get. No, it doesn't show any VHS or DVDs, but not until the next yearbook at least. And there's the back. So that, my friends, is the 2002 Wooden Railway yearbook. I think it's a great yearbook. It really has a lot to offer, and it's probably my favorite Thomas Wooden Railway yearbook. One of my favorites. Another being the 1997 yearbook, or even the 1998 yearbook as well. But yeah, this one definitely had a little love put into it. It had some really good destinations, except for the Sling Bridge. I thought that was a little lazy in my opinion. But other than that, though, Everything else was, all the other new destinations were really original and creative, in my opinion. But yeah, well, that was the 2002 yearbook, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And thank you for supporting my channel. I hope you all have a good day.